I think as actors in the audition experience, we need to be thinking less and acting more. And I think most actors are taught to do a lot of thinking before and during the audition, which leads to a lot of obsessive thinking after the audition. I think the skills, the very practical skills that you need to practice, to hone in order to turn the audition into art, the most important of all those skills is acting on the impulse, acting on what you see in the other human being, having one very specific thing that you were going to do in that audition scene. And that is another one of the practical skills needed to practice the craft of acting, is being able to analyze a script, know what's literally going on in that script, and be able to choose a doable, playable, actual action. Something you cannot pretend to go after, but really go after with that other human being. And then you need to be able to go after it. You need to be able to look the reader in the eye and act on your impulses. If you're trying to comfort a loved one, then how you do that moment to moment is based on what you're seeing in the reader, not based on thinking, not based on remembering. Most actors spend their audition remembering and not acting, because they've been trained, they've been taught to go through line by line the script with a fine-tooth comb and decide specifically, on this line, I'm going to be very confrontational. And on this line, I'm going to kind of back up and be confused. And on this line, I'm going to find that funny what they've said, but throw it back in their face. And then you just are trying to remember during the audition, what's the right way to do it? What's the way the coach told me to do it? What's the way my ego told me to do it? And that is no fun, remembering. I don't know about you, but for me, part of the joy of acting is the freedom from thought, the ability to suddenly act through egoic thought and not get stuck in it. But God knows that takes practice. And again, I think many actors are being trained to try to remember 15 different things. Remember all those line readings. Remember to have the perfect headroom in the frame. Remember to not move my eyebrows too much. Remember my character ideas and character thoughts. And that's just burdensome. That weighs us down. In my live online audition technique classes, I train my actors to go after that one specific thing and let it rip. We practice in my classes acting on what you see in that other human being. Not trying to remember 15 lies, but do one honest thing. Have the audition be like a boxing match every time. You don't know what you're gonna do moment to moment because you don't know what you're gonna see in the reader. You don't know what strange feelings and thoughts are gonna come up that you have to act through, and you have to keep focusing on the other and going after that one specific thing. And you're going to see things in the reader. They're going to react ways you didn't expect them to react, and that's going to take the scene in this other direction. And that's what we want. You say the lines as written, you memorize them or read them from the teleprompter or read them off the sheet of paper, but how you say the lines and what tactics you're going to use moment to moment to get what you want from the other person, that is different every time. That's why the audition wants to be an improv every time. And look, if you're having fun in the audition, the viewer is going to be having fun. If you don't know what's going to happen next, the viewer doesn't know what's going to happen next. You want to think less, act more in your auditions. Auditions don't want to be about remembering. They want to be about living. You don't want to pretend real life. You want to actually exhibit real life. You want to live. You want to do something. Let it rip.